These three gentlemen take mental well-being seriously, but are not serious. They'd rather swear and make irreverent jokes. Now that you know, the healing may commence.
Hail and well met, gentle listeners. It is I, your very best friend, Ryan Brown, and your host for this exciting episode of We're Probably Not Okay. With me, as ever present in the front of my mind, guiding my decisions, is...
I'm the whimsical druid, the shepherd of the forest, Brandon Fool.
famous for his whimsy.
Oh, whimsy.
And on his shoulder...
Coming out of every place.
It comes out of him. And on his shoulder, guiding his decisions in a Russian nesting doll of ethics, is
David Musgrave, the man kissed by all angels.
And on his shoulder, Jesus!
Wow!
Surprise! It's a Christian podcast now.
Oh,
Yeah.
And there were two sets
Finally.
of footprints in the sand.
There's only one set of footprints.
Because
Tuscan Raiders have to walk single file to hide their numbers.
nice.
Now, I like to think that the version now would be when you notice that your podcast was getting extra downloads. That was Jesus.
It was Jesus
That was
downloading
Jesus
your
and some bots
podcast.
that he had programmed.
I like it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
He's a real one. Got to artificially inflate those numbers for us.
Thank you, Jesus. For getting
Big
all those
up.
bots on it.
Big ups to JC.
JC bots. Thank you, baby.
JC bots. So what's up, homeboys? What's going on with you guys? Why don't you guys tell me what's going on?
Brandon, you're the second boy.
Oh,
You
second
were the
number
second.
2 boy.
Yeah.
I'm the poopy boy.
Number 2 boy.
The last episode. Are we bringing this up at all?
Yeah.
last episode?
It was the best episode we've ever recorded. It was, I mean, we didn't even need
There's some
JC bots,
shit.
but my audio kicked out halfway through which we still might release it in some form, because it was good. The main thing you missed is I have a new tattoo. That was about it. And then some other good stuff that we won't talk about because you have to save it for the Patreon.
Yeah, because we did in the Lost episode, we did like tattoo tours of everybody on the show, and I feel like that was a really good bit. So I'm really sad that will never see the light of day.
We'll either do something with that episode, which we've had some kind of funny ideas that I still think we actually should do. Or maybe I'll just do an episode just on tattoos again in the future, just so we don't miss out on that convo. We'll pretend like it's the first time we've ever talked about it. You've got a tattoo of what? Where?
Perfect.
I knew a
thumbnail
guy
right
in
there.
high school, Brandon, and maybe you knew him too, who had a tattoo of the words "your name" on his ass. So as a icebreaker, he'd be like, "I have your name tattooed on my ass," and then he would show you.
Who was that?
I do not remember, but you remember this?
Oh, yeah.
This thing?
I feel like I was close to them in some way.
Yeah, because he showed it to you and I at the same time in the mall. I do not remember who it was or their name whatsoever. However.
I think I know who you're talking about, and they're doing very well for themselves, actually.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear
It's
that.
who I'm
honestly.
thinking that it is. They own a local restaurant, and a very popular local restaurant. Yeah.
Is it?
Is it Quackity McQuackers?
Is that what it is? Is that the restaurant? I'll quack it out. That was like a fucking shot in the dark.
No, you nailed it.
Wow. Not to put him on blast or anything.
Quackity McQuackers. It will be quacked
We
out.
know what your ass looks like. At least we did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's roughly
day.
the same.
Yeah.
As an age today. What are you doing? Botox in your ass, I guess.
Yeah, just bee stings straight in the butthole.
God. So the reason I brought up the episode thing was to make sure that I wasn't retreading old ground that the listeners have heard before. So I'll just go over what I talked about last time.
Okay.
My D&D campaign still has not played, the one that I run. It's been a month and a half now, a little bit longer. And it's really annoying and a little bit upsetting because it's something I look forward to every week. So I have a game
it's
that
something
I play.
You put effort into, too.
Yeah.
I put a lot of effort into it. I have a game that I play in, and that one's great, and I play that pretty much every week, pretty consistently. But I just enjoy running a game as opposed to playing in a game. And when
you prefer running to playing?
I prefer running to playing by a large margin, yeah.
Huh.
You have so much more power. I also went to the doctor, and this has been bugging me a little bit. My cholesterol is super high. My doctor scheduled me for a year, which doesn't seem bad, I guess. That he was like, come back in a year. He wasn't like, come back tomorrow or come back in a week.
Yeah.
And do a bunch more tests. He was like, come back in a year.
Get to the emergency room right now.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. How are you still walking, you corpse man? Is this weekend at Brandon's?
You died 2 years ago. Are you a ghost?
Weekend at Bernie's 2 was just as good as Weekend at Bernie's 1.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Where they magically enchanted him to dance.
We used to be a proper country.
You know what? I'm going to have to go back and watch the second one.
Because woke.
Yeah. All those Weekend at Bernie's 2 people ruining this country.
Yeah. I remember that now that you say that, Brandon, because he fucking danced and shit whenever there would be music, right?
Yeah, he got like enchanted by a voodoo priestess. Where whenever they would play music, he would do like a dance and he would dance away from them and they'd be like, "Oh, where'd Bernie go?" And then he'd be dancing a conga line or he'd like dance into the ocean.
So it's no longer like, we're going to tie strings on his fingers and jerk him around like a puppet. It's, you've been enchanted by a voodoo priestess. And
they had to have, they had to have found it on short notice because like the sequel must take place immediately after the original because Bernie does not look to be rotting. He doesn't even look like blue at all.
Well, I think, and I could be just making a better movie at this point, but I think part of how he got enchanted is they were looking for a way to extend his life, like his death.
Okay.
His death. And then that, because there's powder involved. I remember that there's some sort of powder involved that causes this enchantment.
I'm sure there was powder involved in the making of Weekend at Bernie's too.
Well, yeah.
I have no doubt that powder was involved. Yeah.
Voodoo priestess.
All right, so check it out, guys. Seriously, I got it this time.
It's a voodoo priestess again, Kevin. I swear to God.
Yeah.
You need to stop suggesting voodoo priestesses, Kevin. Come on. This is Return of the Jedi all over again.
I will give me another minute. I'll think of something. Okay, voodoo priestess.
That's my mental health wellness check-in a nutshell.
Well, my mental hellness, I remembered what it's called. My mental hellness is okay. I've been feeling kind of down lately. I think it's just kind of that, like, I don't know, that weird time of the year where it's like, I should be giving a crap about work, but I'll have a day off in a couple of days. So, I'm just going to slide through to the next day off. And that kind of, I don't know, gets a little weird sometimes. And I'm kind of in that funk now, the post Thanksgiving, pre-Christmas, not to date these episodes, funk. So I think that's what it is. I'm excited about the holidays and like, there's really nothing wrong. Work has been kind of busy and annoying, but that's work, right? Nothing like my old job at the Quack Factory with Quackers McQuackington, my boss. There, I only have to edit a little bit this episode. Thank God I had the foresight. But yeah, no, other than that, like, decent, just chilling. Waiting for something bad to happen. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Ryan, what about you?
Gosh, I really wanted to. I really want to tell that story that I told you guys.
I want to hear it. I want to hear the full story.
But you know the one I'm talking about, right?
The one from your message today?
No, the one from. Yeah.
But
it's such a good story. It's such a good story.
Oh, wait. You know, there's one thing that in the last episode that we lost, which was me telling that guy to fuck himself and choke on shit and die or something like that. Didn't that happen? Something bad like that happened?
It did. That's weird.
So
okay, I'm going to tell the story.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the story.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, so at my work, there's like 7 people that work in the program, give or take, like depending on the day, like 7 people that work in the program with me, and the majority of us are parents of some age of kid, you know. And one of my coworkers is a younger lady, and she's pregnant with her first baby. And we were all just sort of like chilling out post meeting one day, and she was sort of talking about like her anxieties about potentially being, you know, a mom, and like, you know, whether or not she has the chops to do that. And everybody was just sort of giving her a pep talk and whatnot, you know, because, you know, 3 of us are like very experienced, like teenagers and adult children experienced. And we were just like, nah, you'll be fine. Because like shitty parents don't ever care whether or not they're going to be shitty parents. So you already got the leg up on that. And I was like, and honestly, just it's easy. Just don't hit your kid. Like you'd be surprised how much of good parenting is just don't hit your kid.
Yeah,
it's fine. And then one of my coworkers, who is easily the most unliked person on the team, maybe one of the most unliked people I've ever met, pipes up and is like, well, actually, and first off, I'm like, don't hit your kids. You know what I mean? Like, if someone says don't hit your kids and your first thought is, well, actually, I got bad news, man. You might be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was like, well, actually, you know, I spanked my kids sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And they're fine. And we were all like, look, man, like, not to judge or anything like that, but like when you're a little kid, you know, and you're getting spanked by a parent, you don't understand. You don't think to yourself, I'll learn from this. This is a story. This is a lesson. I'm going to be a better person for this. No, the only thing you're thinking is someone who is supposed to protect me is hurting me. And that's really all there is to it. Like, you learn I need to lie to my parents because if I don't, they're going to fucking hurt me. You know, I need to be afraid of these people because they're going to fucking hurt me. Like, that's what that teaches them. And he was like, well, I mean, I got a story I can tell about this. And he said to everybody on the team, all of the coworkers, everybody that has to come into the office and look at him in his goddamn face every day, the following story, verbatim. So he says to us, well, you know, one time when my daughter was much younger, she had done something and I said that I was going to have to give her a spanking. And she started crying and she said, but Dad, I've seen you do this exact same thing. And I said, you know what, honey, you're right. So I dropped my pants and had her spank my bare ass with a belt. And I think she was better for it. Everyone in the room was like, and like, you guys know that scene in The Dark Knight when Batman is interrogating the Joker, and then as the Joker's like dialogue is becoming more and more unhinged, there's like this loud white noise that's getting louder and louder the more unhinged it's getting, and it sort of like symbolizes how like Batman is slowly losing control of the situation. That's what it was like. Like as that story began to progress, there was just in my mind this like droning white noise as like it became, the fuck are we hearing right now?
Yeah.
What are we hearing right now? And I feel like we all learned something about him that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Really.
It's telling.
And I was like, I mean, first off, there's just fucking shit ton to unpack there. But most of all, I was like, why the fuck would you tell that story to me?
Yeah. No, that's... Yeah. If you were to tell people, it shouldn't be your coworkers.
Tell your therapist.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell your kid's inevitable therapist.
Yeah, because...
2 places you tell that story. Like Ryan, you said the therapist. 2, the kid's wedding.
or maybe a third place, court. Just saying, divorce court.
I do like the idea of the wedding, though. Like the dad gets up, gives a speech like, Steve, you're so good to my daughter Samantha, but tonight when she's spanking your ass, I want you to think about this. I was there first, buddy. I was there first.
Bare ass.
Daddy was there.
And then everybody hears the same white noise.
Yeah. Should we call somebody?
Yeah, probably. It's too late now. Like the statute of limitations surely has to have passed. She's an adult. Yeah. But I'm like texting because we have like a group chat of all of us without him in it, and I'm like texting that group chat all caps. What the fuck are we hearing right now? And one of my coworkers who was not in that day was like, "What's going on?" I was like, we got to tell you this shit in person. Like, you got to hear this. You can't, because you got to watch the light leave our eyes as we tell you this story.
As you relive it once again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Fortunate Son plays in the background. Yeah. But, that's probably the most unhinged shit I've ever heard from somebody at work.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Considering what I do, that's saying something.
Yeah.
I worked with a guy who was ex-military, and according to him, he was at every major war thing ever. You know what I mean? Like his sniper kills were through the roof. He was one of those guys. He was like retired by maybe 20 years military. He wasn't like fresh out of the military either. But we worked at a computer store together, and people would come in, and there was one day where I was standing beside him. There's no way he will ever hear this. His name is Terry. But yeah, he's talking to a lady, and I'm leaning up on the counter, and she's like, yeah, I'm just checking on my computer. And he's like, yeah, we got your computer working. And she's like, oh, that's great. And he's like, you know, it's not great though. Jumping out of a plane and seeing your... And I can't remember what he said, but it involved like seeing them get shredded by bullets.
Yeah, that's like, that would not be great.
Yeah, you know what's not great? Watching your best friend lying face down in the mud, bleeding out.
Oh, that was
crying for his mama.
That was basically him, and I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe you guys can tell me, because I believed this was true for quite a while. He said, and now that I say it, it sounds ridiculous, but it also is potentially plausible. He said that he had post-traumatic stress disorder from the war, and whichever war he was in or whichever conflict he was in, I guess. And he said that part of how they would work on it, and forgive me for laughing if this is true, is they would lead you through a warehouse and just like pop out fake terrorists at you, like
This
not
is
true then.
This is to help.
I don't believe that's true.
This is to help. This was to help him through PTSD.
Yeah, that's definitely
feels like the opposite.
Like, I was gonna say that sounds like it could be something like immersion therapy, but that's not typically at all what you do for PTSD. That's more like a phobia or something.
Yeah.
But Yeah,
Like,
I'm not trying to doubt this person's experience, but I would be a little suspicious of that.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure that I'm not entirely crazy, because I
No.
did think for a while that was real, because the stuff he said, it took a while to realize that the things he said were complete bullshit. Have you ever met one of those people where the gears take a little while before they click together, and you're like, oh, you're full of shit.
Oh, this guy's an idiot. Okay. I got one like that, and I'll tell you about it here too whenever you're done, Brandon.
Oh no, that was it.
Okay, so I had a guy like that, but it was even more ridiculous because he was the owner of a comic book store that I used to work at. And I want you to close your eyes, both of you, close your eyes. Close them. Imagine, and don't think of me, imagine a comic book nerd.
I'm picturing you.
Yep.
No, not me.
Ryan
not
Brown.
me.
Oh.
Not me.
Okay.
Just like if you thought of a average comic book nerd.
Okay.
Like gatekeeping, like a gatekeepery, comic book guy. That's him. That's what he looks like.
Okay.
So you can open your eyes now. And he was the owner of the shop, and I would work there. And he was the most ridiculous human being I've ever met. He wasn't cruel. He wasn't mean. He was just fucking ridiculous. Like, he would sit in his office, which overlooked the entire shop, and he would come out of his office, like a customer that he knew would come. They would buy their comics or action figures or whatever, and then leave. And then he would come out, sniff the air, and be like, such and such was just here, weren't they? And we'd be like, yeah, they were just here. It's like, I know. I can still smell them. And we'd be like, or you saw them from your office, right? Yeah. Nah. And one of the other guys I worked with, like, he bought in hook, line, and sinker. He bought that shit so hard. And he'd be like, yeah, he's got like these crazy animal senses, like Wolverine or something. And like he could just smell people and know that they were here. And I was like, cool. And he would brag about his like martial arts prowess and how wildly dangerous he was. He's like, the Morgantown Police Department keeps a file on me, but it's a red file. And I'm like, a red file? He's like, yeah, inside of a blue file. I'm like,
you know what that means?
God, I don't know what that means. What's that mean? and he was like, it means that I am to be approached with extreme caution and that my hands are considered deadly weapons. And I was like, this is the most autistic person I've ever met. Like, holy shit.
So,
yeah.
Ryan, you're very heavy into martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any truth to getting your hands registered as deadly weapons?
No, that's not a real thing.
Okay.
Like, Bruce Lee supposedly had that done as like a publicity stunt. It's not like a real thing. And even then, that was just like a bit that he did. Like, it's not like a real thing. Yeah, that's not real. I mean, that would be cool as hell.
Yeah.
But like, there are certain like if you like sometimes what will happen is if you were like in a fight with somebody and you were unarmed and you killed that person, they could like the police could charge you with assault with a deadly weapon if they wanted to, if they felt like if they could make that case.
Yeah.
Like if they were like, oh, well, this guy had a background in boxing or jiu-jitsu or something like that. Or
like
whatever.
if you flying high kicked him off a bridge.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. But I mean, like that's not like a status that you can like. You don't get like a certificate like once you've reached like 7th degree black belt where you're like, here you go.
Yeah.
This also gets you 10% off at Olive Garden.
It's your family when you're there. That's amazing.
It's
that
true.
is
and you get
amazing.
them good ass breadsticks.
Unlimited, baby.
Who would win in a fight? Olive Garden breadsticks or Red Lobster cheddar biscuits?
Red Lobster cheddar bay biscuits.
Yeah, cheddar bay
I
biscuits.
think so too.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think so.
Breadsticks are good. I've worked both places, and I've had unlimited access to both of them.
No man should have unlimited access to either of those things.
Here's a little tip for you: cheddar bay biscuit, lemon squeeze on top of it before you eat it. Just a little bit of citrus on there. It's really good.
Just brighten her up a little. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it a little smooch.
Just a little lemon.
Just a little citrusy smooch.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It makes it just like bring out the existing flavor or what?
Makes it lemony.
Whatever works, man.
Two things have happened in this episode so far that are my favorite things that have ever happened on this podcast. One was after you described the flying kick to knock somebody off the bridge, a good 15 seconds pass and you went to yourself. You just went, to yourself, just a little bit. And then you describing what it does to a cheddar bay biscuit when you put lemon on it. Those are my two favorite things now.
Lemony.
It just makes it a little lemony.
Well, let's dive right into our topic this evening, just so I don't wind up keeping you guys up all night, baby. Pets, as in the ones that we have or had.
Yeah.
So I know we all have pets presently, right? You do, Dave. Yeah, you do.
There's one right here.
So let me ask you this. Yeah, that's right. I saw it walk past earlier. Now I got nothing against your cat. So let me ask you this then. What was the first pet you ever had? And what happened to it?
The first pet that I can remember was a cat named Shadow. And that cat, I don't know. I was very young. That cat probably just died of some cat thing, you know.
Of cat disease.
Yeah, cats. You've got catitis. And then we had a dog named Magic. And that was like the dog I had until maybe like 8 or 9. So, you know, I was old enough that I bonded with it. Or with her, I guess. And she just got canine leukemia or canine cancer or something like that. And when she got sick, she just went very quickly.
Yeah, that sucks. That
sucks. Should we say before we go on, if you're listening to this episode, that we're going to talk about sad pet stuff too, in case you're listening and you don't.
I mean, I guess so. That my intention wasn't to talk too awful much about sad pet stuff, but I guess that is true. There will probably be some.
In case you were triggered by sad pet stuff. That's going to happen.
Which, legit, by all means, I understand. Feel free to check out for the rest of this episode, but
just let the episode keep playing to its conclusion. Just don't listen to it.
Just you can still download it. Just download it.
Yeah. And also go to patreon.com.
Oh yeah, we'll circle back around to Patreon. Anyway, so David, what about you?
So I had like a series of first pets that I think of. Like the original like OG team, right? So there was Sugar, who was a black lab. Then we had Spice, which was a Siamese cat, and Rusty, which was an orange tabby. And love all three of them. Sugar, I don't remember Sugar as much. I think we moved and like rehomed Sugar, I believe is what happened. And Spice and Rusty, this is kind of messed up actually. We had them for years and years and years, and then we were moving somewhere, and I don't know why, because it wasn't like we were renting a house or apartment or anything. We bought a new house, and when we moved, we rehomed them. But they were like old. That's kind of messed up now that I think about it.
I feel like, how old were you when this happened?
I was in 3rd grade. It wasn't like they went to the farm type of a thing.
Yeah.
Because there were two of them.
I didn't think that.
Dad went out back and put a bullet in their head. I mean, we rehomed them, David.
Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to blow your mind. I was just going to say that I feel like how our generation feels about pets is different than how our parents' generation felt about pets quite a bit.
True.
where it's just like, dogs are old. Just give them somewhere else. Like, we've had these dogs for 10 years or whatever. Well, but they're old now, so,
Yeah. My mom was pretty attached to Spice, and we were all pretty attached to it. And my mom has had like a little dog named Andy that she was like in love with, and then like was really sad when it died. So I don't know, it's weird. I don't know. Maybe she just didn't always have the connection, or didn't have the connection to cats as much as I thought she did. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The first pet I ever had was we had a cat, an orange cat named Casey, and my dad. He hates cats for some reason. Like, he's just always been like, fuck cats. I hate them. They're stupid and I hate them. I don't know if it's just like a toxic masculinity thing where it's like only dog, dog help hunt. But he always had this irrational hatred of cats. And Casey was just a little guy, and he peed on the floor one time. And then I came home from school and he was gone. And my dad insisted that he took it out back and shot it. I do not think that is true, but he definitely wanted us to know that he did that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then immediately after that, not immediately, like a couple years after that, we got a dog, and it was my first dog named Missy. And she, in what was probably my first traumatic experience, got hit by a car.
Ugh.
And I remember like my mom coming in the house, cradling her like body, screaming and crying and like covered in blood.
Ugh.
And I was I was in like third grade or something, and I was like, what is happening? I am not mentally prepared for this.
Yeah,
but
that's scarring.
Yeah. But that, I mean, honestly, like neither of those experiences like put me off of wanting to have pets. And like I've pretty much always had, like, we had a lot of dogs growing up. Like we were very much a dog household. Like we always had some number of dogs between 1 and 3 in our home at any given point. Did you guys have more dogs or more cats growing up?
I think more dogs, but kind of a lot of each, really. But I will tell you a story. Speaking of getting hit by cars, this is not quite as sad. I know we said we weren't going to talk a lot about sad pet stuff, but we had a dog named Skippy. He was a Sheltie, and he had 4 legs when we named him Skippy. But he got hit by a car and had to have one of his legs amputated. So we had a 3-legged dog named Skippy, who was originally a 4-legged dog. It just, he circumstance grew him into his name a little bit better. When he died, we had him for years, and he was out in the yard, and I come down like for breakfast or something, and I was a little bit older. I was probably in like, I might have been like 8th grade or something at this point. My mom's like, Skippy's been laying in the yard a long time this morning. I was like, oh yeah? She's like, yeah. Will you go poke him with a stick? And yeah, he didn't move when I poked him with the stick. So that's my
What
Skippy
about you,
story.
Brandon? I know I think when I had met you for the first time, Brandon, the only pet that existed in the full household was your parakeet Jay.
Well, no, we've always had a cat and a dog as just default. There's always a cat and a dog. It's like the Sith. There's always a cat and
always
a dog.
2?
Yeah, always 2. But I did have Jay also. And Jay actually ties into a funny story that I have. Jay was a parakeet that I got named after Jay Leno because, as I mentioned before on this podcast, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian when I was younger. So Jay Leno was a hero of mine. Looking back now, I'm not sure why. But anyway, he's talented in his own way.
Well, when you're a little kid, like when you're a little kid in the '90s, when you think of a successful stand-up comedian, you probably think
David
of Jay
Letterman.
Leno.
David Letterman. Jay Leno was the cooler David Letterman, I felt like.
Yeah.
And then you had Conan, who just swooped in.
Yeah.
And won everybody's hearts.
Game changer.
Game changer.
Especially our generation. Like,
oh yeah,
the millennial generation really attached to Conan because of our sort of like weird, built-in weird sense of humor that our entire generation came preloaded with.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And it's only gotten weirder.
It has mutated into a thing I no longer recognize.
Yeah, it's just somebody screaming in your face while tears are streaming down their face.
Yeah, and you're like, that shit's hilarious.
Yeah, watch this. But no, so I had the parakeet Jay, named after Jay Leno. Got him for my, I think, 12th or 13th birthday. And eventually I moved out of my parents' house, but I didn't take the bird with me. So my dad one day was like, I gave Jay to a bird rescue place. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
That story sounds very real and true.
Yeah.
Well, there is a bird rescue place in the town that they live in. It's a very small bird rescue place. Unless they've been lying to me.
and it's called The Farm.
It's upstate.
Birds. Yeah. They've given 2 of my pet birds to this bird rescue place.
Okay, Brandon. Okay.
Maybe don't think too hard about that one.
Yeah, I bet they're still just eating bird seed, flying around, loving life.
And your dad's not the kind of person who would heartlessly kill an animal, right? Right, Brandon?
Remember that year you ate that very small turkey for Thanksgiving?
It's like a turducken. It just gets smaller and smaller. No, so I cut to a few years later, and I'm helping him build a deck outside in the backyard, and we're tearing up wood from an old deck, and it's like a fucking movie. I swear to God, guys, I'm digging out dirt below this thing, and I pull up the shovel, and it's just a skeletonized parakeet in the dirt of the shovel. We're literally, I don't know what happened. I don't ask my dad what happened to the parakeet, why it's dead, but he took the body and just chucked it underneath the porch. And then I found the skeleton digging up years later.
Amazing. That's the best story I've ever heard.
Yeah, he was out there with me, and I was like, Dad.
And he's just like
that is almost exactly what he did. Yeah, he's just like,
that's weird. It's weird, man. I don't know who did that. I don't know, man.
He gets like a weird smile when I ask him about it, but he doesn't tell me exactly what happened, and I don't think I want to know exactly what happened. You know what I mean?
I do. I think I know what you mean.
I feel like I'm just going to assume that he went to the bird sanctuary, and then after he passed, sadly, they shipped his bones back.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
you know what? Good. You take this win. Okay.
I'm fairly confident that's what happened.
Yeah. So
me too.
Yeah,
I believe in you. Mm-hmm. I believe in that. Do you guys think? Would you guys consider yourselves? Okay, and it doesn't have to be one or the other. But like, there's a real dichotomy, I feel like, when it comes to pet people, where some people are very adamant. They insist you are either a cat person or a dog person. Like, first of all, question 1, do you buy into that? And second of all, if so, which one?
I do not buy into that. Go ahead.
I was going to say I don't buy into it either, but if I did, I would be a cat person.
Mm-hmm.
But I like both. If I could have a dog too, but I feel like dogs you need to be more responsible with. You need to take them out for walks and, all that shit. So dogs are more of a responsibility. I feel like dogs are probably more rewarding because overall dogs, I think, are more intelligent than cats, right? Aren't dogs like...
I think so.
You can train them to do more stuff, and they seem to listen better. I don't know if that makes them more intelligent, but
I will assume that's intelligence, knowing who the true power in the room is.
Yeah, cats want you to think they're smart, though.
Yeah,
you want that. It's true.
Yeah,
dogs have solitude, which you can appreciate.
Yeah. Sorry for the feedback, listeners. Don't know why that's been happening, but I think of myself, like, if I had to pick, I'd probably be a dog person. Like, I do find the relationship more rewarding, and I don't have to scoop their shit out of a box. And that is
I do hate that.
Yeah, I do too. Like, I've had cats my entire life, and like to the point where there's 3 or 4 of them around sometimes, right? And I'm at this point now, and I don't mean to sound heartless, but I'm at this point now where it's gone from like 4 cats to one 21-year-old cat. And, right around the corner, there's like this light at the end of a tunnel where it's like, I might not have to scoop shit out of a box for like a short period of my life. And I just kind of want to, I kind of want to see what that's like.
Do you think it'll be that wildly different?
I think it'll be I think it'll be wonderful to not have to scoop shit out of a box.
I imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that's like.
Here's my question, though. This is like the monkey's paw. Kira becomes a werewolf.
Oh. I mean, my first thought is she's probably going to be a hot werewolf, and I'm into it.
But she poops in a box.
A werewolf that poops in a box? Huh. I'm still into it.
Wouldn't it be like a were cat situation if that were the case? Like
I guess that would be like a were panther,
a were puma, a were cougar, a were tiger.
I think I'm more into that, actually. Yeah. Is it weird that when she pooped in a box, it got better for me?
Yeah.
It
is.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also don't buy into that dichotomy either. As someone who loves both cats and dogs, and I have loved different cats and dogs, over the tenure of my life. I feel like, and I would love to know if you guys have had this experience too. I feel like cats are more drawn to me than dogs are.
Mm.
Like, I think there's something, like, most cats are like I'll walk into a room, like I cat sit on occasion for one of my coworkers whenever they go out of town, and their cats, first time I ever met them, they're like, hey, this guy, what's his name? I think there's something that's like, it's my mysterious demeanor and aloof nature. It makes them think I'm one of them, maybe. Where they're like, hey, all right, this guy's, all right, I can rub up against this guy, I guess. But do you guys have ever had an experience like that? Like, do you feel like one or the other is more like drawn to you?
Yeah. I think when I was younger, that happened with cats more than it did dogs. And I think as I've gotten older, I don't know, maybe I've gotten like kind of dopier and goofier like dog energy now, because dogs definitely seem to like come up to me more than cats do at this point in my life.
Yeah.
And I definitely understand that, like, you go to your friend's house and like a dog is like, hey, this is my new buddy. I'm gonna put my nose in his crotch the rest of the night. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it is weird. It has kind of flipped, because I do think that was more true of like my lap would be the one the cat's like, oh, hey, what's up? I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit.
Have you guys ever been picked by an animal to be that animal's like designated human?
Like by somebody else's animal? Or by your
Not
own?
necessarily.
Oh yeah, this cat behind me definitely has picked me as its specific human.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think specifically. I know there have been times, well, like my cat Zim definitely did. Like my ex-wife and I got 2 brother cats, Zim and Gur, and when we got them, it kind of was like Zim is my cat and Gur is your cat type of a thing. But like they actually really like leaned into that super hard, and definitely Gur like picked her, and Zim picked me pretty hard. So yeah, that's happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happened. I've only ever had that experience once, and that was my dog Bolter, who was very much a I don't know, just there was something very similar feeling about him. Like, he just was instantly like, he walked out of his little kennel and was like, oh, that's my guy, that's him. Just like walked over and was like, this is mine, this one's mine. And he fucking hated everybody else in the it was like there were 2 people in the world, me and everyone else, and he hated everyone else. Yeah, and there was a nice little self-esteem booster, let me tell you.
It is a nice self-esteem booster whenever an animal takes to you. I wonder why that is. Is it
I
because
think
we
it makes
tell
you
ourselves that they can see our souls?
Yeah, maybe
see our
something like
vibes,
that. Like
something?
there is a certain like specialness to it. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
there is something special about me, and this inarticulate creature can feel it.
Yeah.
Is there anything better in connecting with nature than putting out your finger and a bird landing on it?
I wouldn't know.
I've never had
I
it
would
happen,
assume,
but
yeah, I would assume that's probably pretty cool.
Putting out your hand and a raccoon scurrying up your body and then landing on your hand. That would be cooler.
Like
perching on it.
like the Beastmaster. Like
Yes.
The Beastmaster.
Yes.
You guys remember the Beastmaster?
I do remember the Beastmaster, but he had like weasels
He had
or
ferrets.
ferrets. Yeah, ferrets.
Yeah.
I've never done
And a
that, but I
big-ass
drunkenly fed some raccoons American cheese one time.
I mean, you might as well be the Beastmaster.
Were they like
Into it?
outside your house or something? Or
No, they hated it. I was just throwing it at them, and I was like,
Like,
just throwing like loose slices of American cheese at these raccoons?
No, I lived kind of near the woods, I guess, and there was a big back porch, and they had climbed up the stairs to the second story, and they were outside by the grill, and I guess the grill had drawn their attention with the scent. And I had nothing else to give them but American cheese slices. So I was very drunk, and I went out on the porch, and I was throwing cheese at them. And I was like 5 feet away from them. And I look back now, and I'm like, that was so stupid. They could have easily turned on me, you know?
Yeah.
So my last question here is, how many pets do you have presently, and tell me about their personality?
Brandon, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. I only have the one pet right now. I have this cat behind me. It's
That's the one.
Calico, named Caroline. Her personality is, if I could rename her, it would probably be Grayson, because she reminds me of a member of the Flying Graysons, because she's very much like, she leaps around the house.
Look at that thing.
Keep going.
No, that's pretty much it. That's her personality. She's pretty bold.
Caroline seems like a cool cat. I wish I could get to know her a little bit better.
That dog just burped.
Yeah, the dog just went.
So
I am non-pleased.
This is one of my pets. This is Chili, aka Chili Dog, aka Chill Dog, aka the Chillster. And she's pretty chill, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Chili's a great name for a dog.
Thank you. Look at the camera. Smile. Thank you. Yeah, Chili. Yeah. So we named her after the mom from Bluey, because she's not a blue healer. She has similar colors to the mom from Bluey, and I tried my hardest to come up with another name, and I could not get off of Chili, and I am so glad, because I love calling her Chili Dog. Like, that's just, to me, it's like, it's the perfect dog name. So I've been very happy with that. Her personality is quite chill. She is, she's half husky and half, we think, like, Australian creamy Kelpie. But we're not really sure.
Sounds delicious.
Sounds delicious. Fuck you, Brandon.
I definitely saw both of you like, yep.
Creamy Kelpie.
You beat me by like not even a second.
I know.
Both, like, the same joke occurred to us at the same time.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was farther away from my microphone.
I saw the light in both of your eyes at the same time on that one, for sure.
I saw him going for it, and I was like, "Oh
no!" But yeah, you'd think she'd be really hyper. Her being a husky, and she'll get a little husky in her. But for the most part, she's very, very chill. And then I have a 21-year-old cat named Iggy. His full name is Ignignort. Thank you. And he is named after one of the Moonanites from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and that's how long I've had him. He is 21 years old. So you can think of, at the height of that being a thing, was when I got him. And he is the most skittish, like, he loves Kira, and Kira is one of the only humans that like he like will run up to and love on and stuff. So he mostly kind of hides and wants nothing to do with anybody. But he's a sweet cat. He's very nice, and like I said, I've had him around for a long time. So inevitable, probably around the corner with him, and I'll definitely be sad about that. But
yeah,
I forgot to mention that where I got the name from for Caroline was, have you guys played Half-Life 2, either of you?
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'm familiar with it.
Great game.
Okay, so have you played Portal 2, actually, is what I meant to say.
It's also a great game, and yes, I have.
Okay, there's a character in it, Cave Johnson's secretary, Caroline, or Carolyn.
Mm-hmm.
My kid wanted me to name this cat Gordon Freeman, and I was like, I can't name it Gordon Freeman. That's too long, and it's a girl. I got to give it a girl name, which I don't know. Maybe I'm cis-coded, but I wanted to give it a girl name. And I decided on Caroline, which actually in the game they call her Carolyn, so I mispronounced it, but it's too late to change it now because she knows it.
I think it's a great name. She's definitely got Caroline vibe.
Yeah,
it is a great
name.
Anyway,
sorry to interrupt.
There are 4 cats in my home, and we have one of each. We have loving, stupid, scared, and mean. So we got all the bases covered cat wise. We have a orange ding dong who occasionally wanders behind here. He's the nice one. That's Blaze. He was a rescue, and then Chonk, who is a tuxedo cat, who is very grumpy and does not like anyone or anything ever in the entirety of human history. Slim, who is a black cat who is scared of everything and everyone. And then Megan, who is my cat and is a goddamn domestic terrorist. She is an absolute fucking lunatic. We have had to alter the structure of our home to prevent her from doing things. Because ever since we got Blaze, she is dead set. She's like, I'm gonna fucking kill that guy. I'm gonna fucking kill him. And we had to put up like gates to keep her out of areas where he lives, because she will sit there at the gate and just like tilt her head sideways and gnaw on the gate to try and like get in. I'll fucking kill that guy. And if he like wanders too close, she'll like reach in and try and grab him.
Does she ever like extend one claw and just go? That'd be awesome.
No, but if the gate is ever open and like someone's not paying attention and the gate is open and like she is like out there, she will like bolt into this room and like try and get it. She will go straight for him.
That's weird.
Like and out for blood. Like all the other cats just sort of treat him like, okay, I guess another one of those things is here.
Yeah.
You know, but she's the only one. It's just like she has just this maliciousness in her eyes, only for him. Only for him. The other cats, the other humans, she's just like, fine, I love them, they're great. But him, he's going to fucking die, and it's going to be me that kills him.
That's so weird.
It's very weird.
Maybe
and then also too, there are two fire-bellied toads in a fucking python in the house, and a rat named Socrates.
Great name for a rat.
I had rats for pets. Rats are awesome animals.
Yes, they are. Pets. They are, and that's a great name for a rat.
It is. It's named after the rat from the movie Willard, I think. The python is not mine. It does not belong to me. I want nothing to do it. And when it was brought into this home, it was under the caveat: I will not do anything for this.
Yeah,
I will not go out of my. I will never harm it ever, but I will neither do anything for it.
Yeah,
because fuck snakes, man. Fuck them.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't like snakes as pets. Not to like start a reptile war, but I don't even mind like snakes that much. But as pets, it's like, what are you supposed to do? It's like you hold it and you look cool.
Yeah,
I've never had one, and I don't want one, but I like them. If somebody had a snake and was like, look at this bitchin' snake, I'd be like, that's a bitchin' snake. Cool.
I don't mind that they exist. I would just prefer they did so outside of my home.
I will tell you, I had a snake as a pet when I was exceptionally poor with a girl that I was dating at the time. And if you have a snake in a terrarium, the mice in the kitchen will stay away from the kitchen if they smell the snake. So if you have a mice problem, just get a snake and put it in a terrarium wherever you have mice instead of paying to get treated for mice. Just buy snakes.
Who said you don't learn something on We're Probably Not Okay?
Exactly.
I know. I think we just learned a lot here.
Yeah. That's
but that's basically all I got. Did you guys have anything else you want to say or add about pets or anything like that?
Only that it really sucks how much joy animals bring into your life. And I've had to go through this a couple times recently. At the end, it's like the worst fucking thing. It's like, why did you do this to me? Like, ugh. Mm-hmm. It's the fucking worst. And I've had to go through it a couple times recently and just like bawling in front of strangers in a building where you take them that you know you're not coming home with them. It's just like the weirdest fucking thing. And it sucks so hard. But it's, I guess it's worth it in the end, and we keep doing it to ourselves. And I couldn't imagine my life without my pets. So that's all. Yeah. A little depressing tidbit there at the end.
Yeah, and you'll do like I had like Chonk got sick, and we thought for sure that this was it. Like, because she's older. Like she's probably like maybe 10 or 11 years old. So I was like, this is it. And that sucks because I love her a lot. And she is really fucking weird. And she would just lay there head down, like on the heating vent and just lay there all day. And I was like, oh shit, what? So we took her to the vet, and it turns out that she just had an infected molar.
Oh.
and it was infected, and like the infection was like the lethargy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so then like a couple of days later, and you could see it, like the dentist like the vet like showed us like where her jaw was like swollen, and we were like, oh god, huh. But and like a couple days later, I wake up to screaming, and I like run out of the room, and my wife is there like with Chonk, and Chonk has like a hole ripped into the side of her face, and there's like blood on the floor. And I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, what happened here? And so I thought that like it had like swollen and burst or something. I don't know. But we took her to the vet, and the vet was like, yeah, she just, it must have hurt. She just clawed it out of her face.
Yeah. And
I was like, and in the entire time, Chonk is like, fuck is your guys' problem? This is fine. I fixed it. It's fine. And I was like, does this happen? And the vet was like, well, I've never seen it happen before. And I swear to God, this was the quote she said to me. She said, I've never seen this happen before, but cats are weird. And I was like, all right, you got me there, I guess.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point, Doc.
So let that be the takeaway.
Cats are weird. Yeah. That's not wrong.
Well, is there anything else you guys wanted to say? I know we should talk. We definitely have, and you can definitely become a member of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go to patreon.com and look up We're Probably Not Okay. I guess it's probably patreon.com/We're Probably Not Okay. But go there and you can search and find us.
And you can become a regular donor to our show. And you'll get
something.
You'll get more access to us as though you're not already our close friends and family listening.
I will say if you go there right now, there's not really, like, we've got tiers in there for something we don't do anymore, which is We're Probably Not Monsters. You were going to be named a character, which unfortunately I'd still love to do something with that. So maybe you will someday. But we will definitely be very grateful. Mention you on the show, of course. And then, and we've got some exclusive content coming down the pipeline. that, you know, especially as if we see more people join and there's interest, you'll get to see those lost episodes, or the one anyway. And I still am really into the idea of like writing a whole script around whatever, not Jason Voorhees, whatever we called him, Freddy Voorhees or whatever his name was, Jason Kruger.
Jason Kruger, yes.
Yeah, the return of Jason Kruger. I could see that being a whole episode in of itself. There's lots of cool stuff we could do. Yeah, we could watch Weekend at Bernie's and critique it.
Yeah, like the Voodoo Magic is really like.
Yeah, I gotta watch the second one again. That's buck wild. What were you gonna say? You raised your hand like you had a point there, an interjection, Brandon.
No, I was just agreeing. Like, haha.
Here. Gotcha.
Like a mad scientist would.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys go ahead and do that. But until next time, I have been your host and very best friend, Ryan Brown.
I've been the druid of the forest, Brandon Full, pulling the strings. Ooh.
And I've been David Musgrave, the man case by Hell Angels. Love you, baby. And we're probably not okay.
Ooh.